Alright. Okay. So I'm going to tell you about how I trained for 3 years to fail / to get kicked out in 3 days. This shit is, or it was, and it still is kind of very disheartening. And it feels like a waste of time, even though I know it's not a waste of time. But in about 2021, maybe about almost like 10 months after I got out of jail, my dad, he told me about this thing called the French Foreign Legion. And it's like a military group where they change your name and then you pretty much just do infantry. You do whatever they tell you to do. And if you survive the 5 years, or if you get shot and you survive, you spill blood, you become a French citizen. They give you a whole new identity, all that shit. So I wanted to join them, but the problem was at the time I still had a court case going on. So in the meantime, I bought a book on it and I just read up and I studied fucking everything about the group, and I kind of got infatuated with it because they have these fucking nice uniforms and all that, and I was like, dude, I'll look cool as fuck in one of those, and that's gonna be fucking awesome. I'm gonna become one of them, and then I can fucking fix my life, and I don't have to worry about anything from my past coming back because I'm gonna have a new name and everything, and I'm gonna be fucking trained and all this. And for like a year, I just read up about that shit. And then I bought this book to start learning French. And I bought a notebook. And while I was working, I would study French on my own. And I wrote down like the basic shit. Je suis américain. Shit like that. Bullshit. Just the most simple shit in French ever. And I studied that. And then I thought, let me take a class on this. So I went to Wilbur Wright College in Chicago. The community college for the people that actually live in Chicago. You know, like, it's a community college. You have to live in the fucking city to go there. So I signed up for French 101 in that class. And we had this dude from Alabama as our teacher, and like the whole COVID shit was still going on. It was like very early 2022. I started doing the class with him. And I got good grades, bro. I was already like a step up from everyone else because I was doing it on my own, and I had the book and I was reading and I was doing the Google to learn how to translate or how to pronounce the shit. And I got like a 96 or some shit in that class. Dude, I worked my ass off for that. Every single assignment I did perfectly. I would go over, read it 3 times, boom, boom, boom. And after I finished that first class, I thought it'd be better if I started learning how to speak French. So I went to this place up in like near Rogers Park by Little India in Chicago, this language school, and I started speaking French with this African tutor. And doing all that, you know, learning how to actually have a conversation with people and learning the nuances and like the actual slang, argot. That's what slang is in French. It's argot. All that stuff. I started getting better and better, and then I found a karate school because I was going to LA Fitness and I was just hitting the punching bag like fucking whatever. No technique at all, just hitting the thing and then throwing knees and trying to throw elbows. And this guy, he told me, he's like, oh, you should come train karate with us. And I was thinking, like, karate is kind of fucking lame. But then he showed me the kind of karate they were doing, and the fucking karate they were doing there had butts and elbows and punches to the face and fucking kicks and all sorts of shit like that. So I was like, fuck it, let me go train there in case they try to extort me when I go to France and they think I'm some like pussy ass American, that, you know, like a pampered ass American there, because there's people that come from all around the world to go join the Legion. So I was like, fuck it, let me learn how to actually fight correctly and not just throw punches like a retard. So I started going there to train, And then after that, after the summer, I did French 102. And yeah, 102 was pretty good too. I got I got an A, and every time I took a French class, I got an A in it. While doing the class, while going to the tutor and the school there with other people there, like studying with fucking lawyers and architects and anthropologists and shit like that, having conversations with them and talking and being around smart people. It was pretty humbling being there with smart people, because I'm just a retard fucking jackass petty criminal from Chicago. So being there with them, it was kind of eye opening. It's like, oh, dude, I'm kind of rubbing elbows with a tier above what I am, because I'm just a guy fucking from Chicago. I'm nothing special. But yeah. What else? Fucking. Yeah, 102, the teacher I had, she actually knew the tutor I was going to. So I kind of got closer with both teachers than I was with my original teacher, because my 102 teacher at the college, she's from fucking Iran or something like that. One of those yeah, I think it's Iran. And my tutor, my private tutor, the professor there, he's from Senegal. And they knew each other, so I got to fucking kind of meet people from different parts of the world and actually talk with them and ask them about different experiences. And the people that I was meeting with and talking with at the tutor school with the in-person conversation, because I think in order to get better at a language, you have to actually be in person and face that kind of, not really humiliation, but the fear and the, I guess, humiliation of fucking it up and getting corrected in front of everyone else. You have to do that, because just doing a babble or studying it on your own, you're gonna suck ass. Like, just doing it on your own, that's not gonna do shit. You gotta actually go and test it with other people and have an actual conversation, and not just this bullshit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I started meeting a lot of people there, and my teacher, the tutor, the one from Senegal, he used to have these wine parties where at his school. So I'm there, dude. I'm just like a piece of shit, fucking whatever, street tough at wearing nice clothes, going to a fucking wine party with architect, doctors, professors, people that speak like 6-7 languages, people that are making like hundreds of $1,000s a year, and I don't even have a job at this point. I'm just fucking working out, doing karate, doing the class, and then having the conversations there. That's it. That's all I'm doing. And then like smoking weed with my boys in the fucking neighborhood and getting up to shit with them. So it was pretty fucking, it was pretty fun there. But sometimes I got too hammered there, and I'll be like, ah. It was pretty fun there. And then like at the end of 2022, doing that shit, I got my arm dislocated in wrestling practice, so I couldn't really train that much anymore. So I just started doing my technique for my karate, like working on the stretching and the conditioning my legs and techniques for the kicks. And I think I might have waited like 6 months or some shit to get back in the French class, but I eventually recovered. I went back to the karate, and everything was going good. I fucking did everything I could to get as good as I could in a short amount of time. So I go to Legion or whatever. Fuck. My bad. I got like fucking word salad, because I'm trying to explain like 3 years in a fucking 15, 20 minute video, or however long this is going to be. But I did 103, and I had the same teacher from 102, the woman from Iran. She's pretty base, bro. She's like a trumper in Chicago, working at City College in Chicago. So like you wouldn't expect that in the fucking city to have like a French teacher that is conservative and a woman from Iran. But she was pretty fucking based with her takes, and it was all on like the video class, so it was pretty easy to do. So I like her as a person. She's pretty cool. And then I'd also do the the tutoring as well while I was doing 103. 103 got kind of hard because they had like the Pluska Parfait and shit like that. And whatever I didn't understand in the class, I would go to my tutor and I'd say, hey, could we go more in depth into this? Like the Pluska Parfait. I can't even explain it to you right now. But like it's like the fucking more than perfect shit. There's all this shit. It's like si j'avais su whatever. Like if I would have known shit like that in French, where you could actually express deeper thought. Like if I would have known that it was rainy or if the roads were slippery, I wouldn't have drove my car, something like that. So all the different stuff. I'm okay at speaking French. I actually wrote a fucking short story in French specifically for my tutor to get better with the class, to get better with the language, not even with the class. I didn't really care about the class. I just cared about getting good at the language. So I got all A's in 101, 102, 103. I haven't taken 104. I'll go back and do 104, but I need to get better. And like, I don't know, it's kind of demotivating because the whole reason I learned French was for the Legion and I fucking failed at that. But yeah. But after I did 103, I mostly just kept doing karate. And then my dad, he sold his house or whatever, and we were living out of hotels and everything. And it was like 2024. Yeah, early 2024. We were living out of hotels and everything. And in like late 2023, I stopped going to my tutor because we had like a falling out. Me and him had a falling out, and then he ended up dying. So I couldn't study with him anymore. I didn't want to do just the online class, so I stopped studying French. But I still remember like pretty much most of the shit there, like because we would have conversations fucking 2 times a week. So I was speaking French pretty often. Like yeah. So I didn't really forget anything, and I sometimes I talk to myself in French just to make sure I don't lose it, or like I rant or whatever, write down, I'll talk to whatever. And yeah, 2024, my dad sold his house and we were moving around, and then eventually we ended up in Texas, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm off probation, I'm off all that shit, and yeah, the whole court case thing was done. I was like, what? I don't have to keep preparing anymore. I can actually go and see if I'm gonna make it. And yeah, I got a flight to Marseille, France. And when I got to France, I hailed a cab. Well, I got a coffee. And I had a vape. Yeah, I had a vape, and I got a coffee right as soon as I got to the airport. And then I hailed a cab, and he drove me from Marseille airport to Aubagne. And I was talking with him about, you know, like what he knew why I was there. I'm an American. I'm a young guy. I look like this. I'm obviously there to join the Legion. So he drove me. He's like, oh, I'm gonna take you to a hotel where they'll give you a discount because you're trying to join the Legion. So I went to the hotel. The guy there knew. He's like, oh, you're trying to join the Legion? And I was like, yeah. They got me a room, and then the next morning I was gonna go and fucking join with them, and that's what I did. So I slept the night, spent the night there, but before I went to bed, I went to this Turkish place in Aubagne, and I had a pretty good meal there. They were kind of looking at me kind of odd because I was an American, and there's probably not that many Americans that come through there. And they probably only ever like see about it on the internet. They probably don't really meet that many Americans. Especially Americans like me, they probably meet like, you know, more sissy, not to fucking be an asshole, but sissy Americans visiting France, like, yo, come on. But yeah, I went there, ate there, went to sleep, and I woke up at like fucking 4 a.m. The time jump wasn't even that bad, bro, because I stay up pretty late. So I woke up like early as shit, and I took everything I had. I only had like 2 pairs of clothes and fucking underwear and shit. And I walked all the way to the base. And the dude, went up to the gate. I was like the first one there. There was no other recruits there. Walked up to the gate. The guy had his FAMAS. He's like, Anglais or Francais? And I was fucking nervous as shit, bro, because I was like, dude, I'm actually here. I'm actually at the fucking Legion gates, and I was like, Francais, and then he just starts talking to me in English. So I didn't even really get to use my fucking French that much with the guy at the gate. And then he's like, all right, follow me. Went up these stairs. There's like the gate. Okay, so you're fucking me. There's the gate right here, and then right there it goes the stairs, and then there's a little fucking center. You can look it up on Google Maps though. Bond Pre-Selection Center. And then it goes up to the gate, and there's the list there, and they got the fucking commander or whatever, the corporal chef, and he goes over the list of things that you can't have. Like, it says you can't bring a knife in, you can't bring a gun, no vapes, none of that shit. But you can bring cigarettes in, which, surprisingly enough, you can bring fucking... I should have brought cigarettes, but I didn't know you could bring cigarettes in. But I needed to get like t-shirts and soap, like a bar of soap, and I think like toothpaste. Yeah, toothbrush and toothpaste. So he told me, we went over the list, and he's like, oh, you have to go revient à la... What is the word for town? I don't know. He told me like return with get the shit and return. So I walked like 4 miles back to the town. I already walked like 4 miles to the fucking there. I walked 4 miles back to the town. And I was up so early, the fucking shops weren't even open. So I had to wait around to buy the soap and stuff. And I went to there. I had to get flip-flops too. But I went there. I got the first shop. I got the fucking soap and the toothpaste and everything. And then there was no t-shirts there or flip-flops. So I went to this place called like Monoprix, and I bought t-shirts there, like a three pack of t-shirts for like 30 euros. They're pretty nice t-shirts. I still have them. And then I had to get the flip-flops because there was no flip-flops there. It was only like these fucking sandals. And I had to go all the way to this mall to get the thing. And it was like on the other side of town. So I asked this Arab dude, I was like, dude, where's the bus? And he's like, oh, here's the bus here. And I was fucking scared because I'm like, dude, I'm going to get lost here and I'm not going to find my way back. But they told me, I was like, what the fuck is the word for, like, centre comercial? That might be Spanish, but, yeah, I went to this mall and I bought fucking flip-flops. And then I took the bus back to the terminus where all the buses were and the trains and shit were, and then I walked back to the Legion base. And then they finally let me in, but now there was a kid from Nepal there with some old white dude. And there was a guy from India there too, who said he spoke English, but he spoke shitty English. Like, you couldn't even have a conversation with him. His English was terrible. And he didn't speak French either, so I couldn't really talk with him. But the dude from Nepal, he spoke pretty good French, so I was able to talk with him in French. And then a kid came from Madagascar, and he spoke French, but he warmed up to me later. He was kind of hostile at first. But then they took us all into this room. The black dude, the corporal chef, he took us in this room and we did the IQ test or whatever. They didn't have us do the pull-ups. I don't know why they said they make you do the pull-ups right away. I didn't do any fucking pull-ups when I was there. The only pull-ups I did were on the tree branch in the fucking yard. We didn't do any pull-ups at the beginning. We didn't do... they didn't even test me for pull-ups. When I was there, bro. Like, fucking... That was the thing I was most fucking worried about. Like, I did mad pull-ups just to get ready for that shit, and they didn't even fucking test for it. I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, they did the weird IQ test, and then they let us in. They took us in with the rest of the guys there, and I fell in with the Eastern Europeans. They're there was a guy from Moldova who was like very clever, a very clever guy. He's pretty fucking cool. And then there was more like he's more like a business savvy guy, the guy from Moldova. Then there was a guy from Latvia, and he was like swole as shit. He looked like Fedor Emelianenko, and he was more, he's more like tough. And so I hung out with them because they spoke English. As soon as I got there, he's like, yo, you speak English? I was like, yeah. And so I fell in with them. We started working out there and talking and stuff. And I had euros. I had like 500 euros. They said it was max 50 you could bring in, but they let me bring in all my money. So I had like a lot of euros. I don't think I had 500 there, but I had like at least 50 with me on the fucking yard. And I had like coins too, so I was able to buy cigarettes. The Moldovan dude, he had a big box full of tobacco, and then he had rolling papers too. And they have a coffee machine there too, so you could get a coffee and you can smoke a cigarette there while you wait to get processed in. Because the whole day while you're there, you're just, besides like the morning and the night, and like when you're going to the cafeteria, you're just waiting around the whole time. We were outside, which was pretty fucking nice. But yeah. We got to know each other the first day. We were talking about different shit, like where we were from and all that. And it was pretty funny because the Moldovan dude, he's like, let me guess, you didn't like school. You got in trouble with the law. You like to do drugs. He's like, yeah, me too. And it was pretty funny because when we were sharing all the stories, I'm like, dude, we all have like the same life pretty much. Like we all done the same shit. But yeah. And at the end of the first day, we went into the fucking barracks or whatever. And it was all bunk beds and stuff. And we made our beds. I think I had like a lunch and a dinner there the first day, but I don't remember what the fuck we ate. But the food there was pretty good. And yeah. We made our beds or whatever. They showed some of the Spanish dudes. They showed me how to make the beds because the Moldovan and Latvian they went in the other room to rest, but I went in the first room, first bunk on the bottom, right next to the toilets or whatever, or the sinks, because I wanted my bed to be right up against the wall and on a lower part because I did not want it to be in the fucking center where there's two people on either side. I wanted it against the wall. So yeah, they showed me how to make the bed or whatever. Boom, boom, boom. And then we went to sleep. And I set the alarm. Some of the guys there, they were like, oh, what time? They were saying, like, the time to wake up. So I had a Casio watch with the alarm on it. So I set the alarm. And I was the first guy up. Every day I was there, I was the first guy up. And I would wake everyone else up. And then we'd go fucking get ready and go into the yard. And then every time you go to the cafeteria, you'd have to run there with the rest of the guys. You'd go in the little fucking formation and do that. And the second day I did a test on the computer with some of the other guys. And then I think the two Mongolians came and they hung out with me and the Slavs. Because one of them spoke English and one of them didn't speak any English at all. But they would he would sit and smoke cigarettes with us and drink coffee with us and work out. And he'd just go like this. He'd just look at you and nod. But the other Mongolian was pretty cool too. And he was telling me about Mongolia, and I was asking him, how does it feel? You guys are like fucking you guys have Genghis Khan's DNA. And he was telling me about Mongolia and how bad some of the cities there are and shit like that. And I was telling him about America and some of the wild shit I'd get up to in America. But it was pretty fun there. And then the Moldovan dude, he knew some of the guys on the other side that were blue. They weren't just like us, like candidates. They were actually good to keep going with the further down the training or whatever. So he knew some of the guys there because they spoke the same language, like Russian or whatever, from like Romania and the Eastern Bloc countries. So we'd go over up to the fence. Our group would go up to the fence, and there were some Mongolians on the other side. So we would talk with the other guys there, and they would ask questions to me, and we would have conversations and stuff, and we'd smoke cigarettes with them, and they would. The tree with the branch there was there, and the dip bar was there, so we could hit pull-ups and just chill with them and talk with them. The second day was pretty fun. It was just one test, and then we just worked out and talked, smoked cigarettes, drink coffee. It was pretty fun, and it was kind of nerve wracking sometimes because we'd be sitting there smoking a cigarette, shooting the shit, and then one of the dudes that was in charge would like yell, and we'd have to fucking start running to get in line, and we'd still be like one of the first people there. And the Brazilians, bro, the Brazilian group, the Portuguese speaking group, they were sitting at the front in this fucking tent, and they would still somehow be like last. It was pretty funny. And the Spanish group of dudes, they were always like wrestling each other and getting up to shit that you weren't supposed to be getting up to inside of the little trailer. So like the way the layout was of the yard, it was like the tent at the front, and then the trailer right here, and then the little back area, which is where we would chill. Like in between the back fence and the trailer, and we'd just chill in between there. And then if you walk down the path, there was the tree branch, and then the other fence to the blue yard right there. So that's where we'd chill, like in the back, or like just on the back wall, which is pretty cool. And on the back of the trailer, there was everyone. They would write down where they were from on the thing. At the end of the day, we did the same thing. I slept in the same bunk. And yeah, and then on the third day, after we woke up, we woke up like at the same time. It was the same time for the wake up, but we all got into the formation or whatever. Then we ran to the medical thing, which was like to the left of the back door that they would always assemble us at, right in front of the yard. So we ran to the medical thing, and then I somehow popped. They did like a drug test and shit like that. Somehow I popped for cocaine, even though I didn't do any cocaine at all the entire time. I haven't done coke, bro, in fucking years. And somehow I popped for it, and then I was like, dude, I didn't do any. And they gave me another drug test, and then it fucking cleared it up. But I saw the doctor, and I didn't even do my fucking pull-ups, bro, besides the ones in the yard. Working out with everyone else. Like we had a little thing on the second day where we all showed off what we were made of, and I did like sets of 15 pull-ups. Everyone else was doing like sets of 8, 9, or 10. I was doing sets of 15, bro, because I've been going hard on the pull-ups. But yeah, I never got to do any pull-ups there officially. But yeah, I went to see the doctor, and the doctor, he was like, oh, you need to find a different career. Because I have asthma, because I wrote down, they had us fill out the shit in the waiting room of like what our things were, and they're like, oh, be honest. If you're not honest, we're gonna kick you out. And I was honest, and then I got bit in the ass for being honest, because I said I have asthma, even though I was like one of the fastest guys there. Because every time we'd run to chow, I would pass everyone up and get to the front. Even if I was in the back, bro, I'd be like towards the front. Because I'm not fast, but dude, I run all the time. Because I want to get faster. But yeah, when he told me that, bro, I was like, fuck, what a fucking waste of time. Like, it was so disheartening, bro. But they let me stay there for like pretty much almost the rest of the day. They let me stay there till like after lunch. Like right after lunch, they let me and a couple other guys go. But yeah, we finished the medical, and they sent us back to the yard, and I told the Latvian dude and the Moldovan dude, because those are like my best buddies there, and the Mongolian there, I told them, I'm like, dude, I'm going home. I was like, they're kicking me out because I got asthma, and I was like, fuck, man. And the Moldovan dude, he went blue, so he got his tracksuit, and he went to the other side, and I was happy for him, because I was like, damn, I'm like, hey, good luck to you, man. Is it pretty good to see him, you know, he got to go blue. And then the Latvian dude, he told me that he tried to join the Legion before in Paris, but they told him to go, like, get something with his teeth, and then come back, so this was his second time, so I'm pretty sure he went through. But yeah, and we went to lunch. We went to the final lunch. Well, I went to my final lunch, and I sat there. The lunches weren't really that bad. It was just like assis et manger, and you'd have to sit there and wait until they fucking tell you to do that. And some of the dudes from Africa, like Algeria and Madagascar, those dudes, they would take like extra bread, and then they would get chewed out. Or like some of the Spanish dudes, they would get fucking yelled at for taking extra bread or extra shit, trying to get like double or whatever, taking too much condiments. But the food there was pretty fucking good, bro. The you get like coffee or hot chocolate. Like they let you choose, bro. They weren't like they weren't up your ass. They let you get fucking a coffee with a fucking like a roll, and then you get jam with the roll. So you fucking rip the roll up, put like piece of jam on each piece of roll, and then you get do that. Boom, coffee is pretty good. And then they let you bring in cigarettes too, so you could smoke right after you ate. All you have to do is run to the thing afterwards where you all run together. But yeah, on the last lunch, bro, I'll not even gonna lie, dude. Not even try to act like I'm fucking too cool for whatever. I cried at the last lunch there, and I think everyone knew. They kind of knew. They're like, oh fuck, like, because everyone knew I was the most in shape there, bro. And I showed everyone my fucking like fighting moves and stuff, and I was like, I was the only American there. There was no fucking person from Mexico or Canada or Cuba. I was the only person there from North America. The person that was from the closest country to America that the person was from, or whatever, that someone was from, there was Colombia. And that's pretty fucking far. No Mexican, no Canadian, no one. I was the only American there. There was an English dude there, and he was like, oh, is that a Yank there? And I was like, yeah, it is. I'm an American. Like, one British guy there, but he was like in red, bro. He was a rouge. Yeah. I cried at the fucking lunch because like, dude, 3 years, bro, of fucking studying and karate and fucking the French and going to the tutor and having the fucking conversations there every week, like week after week after week after week. And I would tell them at the fucking conversation, I told my teacher, I'm like, dude, I'm going to be a Legionnaire, and he's dead. And I never got, like, I went to the Legion, and I didn't become a Legionnaire. Like, they kicked me out after 3 days for fucking asthma. And I was sitting there thinking that, I'm like, dude, I tried so hard, bro. I learned a whole language. I learned a martial art in a language just to fucking try to get here. And I was like, dude, I didn't even get to do the pull-ups. I didn't even get to fucking do a run. 3 days, and it's like, oh, I need to find a different career. Like, are you serious? Like, I'm here. I came. I did everything I was supposed to do. I came here. Like, I showed up. I didn't fucking bitch out. I fucking went there. And then all that to get turned away because it's something I can't even control, bro. Like, yeah, I have asthma, but I can still run pretty far. I can still run pretty fast. It was just so disappointing. And then after that lunch, we went back to the yard, and I was talking to the Latvian dude. I'm like, man, it's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it, bro. Like, I'm actually gonna I actually failed this. I'm actually going home, like, after all this time, and I can't even do that. And I brought this book of the Simon Murray, the Legionnaire. I was reading that book the whole time, like years before I fucking even went to the Legion. And I was like, about the war in Algeria, between Algeria and France, where they were fighting the Algerians, or whatever. And yeah, I gave him that book, and I was like, fuck, bro. I was like, man, best of luck to you, bro. Like, I'll catch you later. And then when I left, bro, I was just walking around the town, whole